Hello, everybody. Welcome to our first live stream of Link Up Leaders. If you guys are watching us on Facebook or YouTube, please send us a comment, give us a like, let us know that you're out there and listening. But otherwise, we're going to jump straight in. So today we are talking with the amazing, energetic, wonderful David Dayon. He is the co-founder and CEO of Amazon Experts and the founder of the Ecom Cooperative, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. As always, I'm joined by Francois, and now please welcome David. David, how are you doing?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, can't complain, man.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you on our first live stream.
Yes,
we've been recording these,
here.
but
this is great. I'm so happy to be the first live episode.
You're happy you're our guinea pig?
Yeah, I love it.
No, it's exciting stuff, and you have a tremendously exciting background. We talked a bit. We talked a little bit about the Ecom co-op a while back, and you have some amazing things going on. But I guess for everyone here, for everyone that might not know you, can you give us a little bit of background? And I'm sure if they listen to Yanni's episode of you, they know everything about you, all the way from
that really was. I was not expecting that. I was like, so what do I need to prepare? He's like, don't worry about it. We'll be talking about you. You don't need any preparation. Who knows your life better than you do? And then the questions, he's like, so how you doing? What's going on? I'm like, so Amazon Experts. He's like, no. Where did you grow up?
I thought that was so funny.
What street did you live on? I was like, sure, yeah, okay. I didn't know we were going that far back. So it was a lot of fun. Yoni's he's a great host. So that was a lot of fun. That was really good.
Yeah. But if you want to just tell us a little bit about your background. Definitely. I know you saw me probably creeping on your LinkedIn before, and I know you got started way back in 2014 was it, with arbitrage.
Yes.
And just from the episode, I'm not going to dive too deep into Yanni's amazing episode with you, but I know that you're sort of an advocate against arbitrage nowadays. But
I feel like I shouldn't say against it. I mean, there's people that are that have tremendous businesses. I mean, one of my good friends are still in that business. And they're doing good. They're doing well. But I guess for myself, I'm against it for myself. I will no longer, entertain that model, and I'm not looking to ever go back there. I'm obviously grateful of my start. And I guess I'll just, like I said, give a little bit of a history. So I started straight out of high school, actually, working my summer jobs. My first job was making Amazon product listings. I remember it was an amazing job. It was a great opportunity. And ironically, that's not what I thought I would do. That's not what I thought my future would be. It was like a summer job just to pass the time. Then
who are you making these for?
It was for a family friend at the time.
Family friend, okay.
Then my brother my brother and my dad ended up opening their own Amazon business, and then straight out of college, I basically started working there. While I was still in college, I was working there, and that was great. I mean, that was, again, I was in college for psychology. I did not think I was doing anything with Amazon.
It's one of the same, right? Listings and psychology. It's all about consumer mindsets and
I think I didn't even make a real thought about this, but I think it helps. I think the mindset, and because I always say, and part of what we'll I think talk about today is making a great listing. That's one of my favorite things that Amazon Experts offers. Listing creation, listing optimizations. So I mean, I think it has to do with getting into the mindset of the customer and making sure that you're appealing to the customer and establishing brand trust. So I think that's definitely everything that I went through. I realize kind of helped me get to where I am. So of course, very grateful for the road that I've taken. But yeah, I mean, I started in arbitrage. I quickly moved away from arbitrage when it got very hard to sell. We were selling Casio G-Shock watches. And then all of a sudden, or any watch, or any company watch, there was anything we can get our hands on that was making, you can make profit on. And it was very easy to figure it out those days. It was just a whole different business. And we basically, like as soon as a couple of, anybody that was in the game remembers there was a time, it was a year, I don't remember exactly when, where they started cracking down and they started saying you need, verified invoices. And obviously, even if you bought it from someone who bought it from someone, that was good enough. But then it wasn't good enough anymore. And you had to be direct from the manufacturer. And it was just the arbitrage game got much, much smaller. And a lot of people that I know went out of business because they couldn't keep up with what the demand was and what they needed to have. And I guess I moved on to consulting. And I always say that consulting is so different from just selling one Amazon business versus multiple Amazon businesses. There's like, it's like a completely different business. I like, it's just that you need a different skill set. You need a different mindset. You just need, everything has to be different as far as, consulting. You have to like step into the account and step out and kind of be able to get to what you need to get to and not get caught up because there's so much data to get caught up in. And I would say another very big difference is just with this amount of data you have when you're managing a bunch of businesses. You can come up with a strategy and carry the strategy out. And then you can look at what happens and kind of analyze the reaction and the results of what you did. But then you can do that for a bunch of accounts and kind of analyze it on a bigger level. And that really, really helps, like, as far as making strategies to grow an Amazon business. That's like a very unique thing that you get when you're in the shoes of a consultant. So it's amazing. I love it. I worked for a couple agencies. Then we started Amazon Experts. And the main reason was because we wanted to be a boutique firm. I mean, I think a general like, or not general, but let's say there's a lot of people out there, a lot of firms out there that have a lot of clients. And I was part of firms that had a lot of clients, and I just didn't feel that was the right approach for me, at least. I wanted to take a little bit more time, like vetting each client and making sure that the partnership made sense on many levels, make sure that our goals were aligned. The perfect example of what I didn't want was you meet someone, you find out he has a big catalog, everything is great, he's willing to even spend money, let's say. Because usually it's the money, advertising budget is usually something we love to cover before we sign the client, before we do anything. We need to know what are we in for? What does this look like month 2, month 3? We like to educate the client and show them what we're looking at, the big picture of what we're trying to paint for them. And I guess the worst case, the worst example of like getting a client who does all those things and then he says, "Oh, sorry, I don't have inventory." And that just ties our hands. And what are we doing? We're wasting our time. We're wasting our resources. We just like to find out. And there's not so many things. You have like a small list of stuff that you need to just figure out before you run an Amazon business, before you want to launch an Amazon business. It's not that complicated to just get the list and make sure your client has it. So that's what we do. We put a much bigger emphasis on partnership. And then we also have, for anyone that partnership is not an option, we have the a la carte service menu where there's no commitment or contract of any sort. We just have services like our listing optimization service. We pride ourselves in doing a good job. We pride ourselves in, like, if I take on a project, in my opinion, I'm going to try to make it, let's say I'm selling a pair of shoes, a boot, let's say. I want to be the nicest boot. I want to be the nicest in the category. If someone's searching and they come across my listing and 5 other listings, I want them to feel more when they come to my listing. I want them to trust my brand more. And through the use of a couple of simple things, we're able to do that. And we find that makes all the difference. And that really is a crucial part of the success that we believe you need to just do in order to be successful on Amazon. And again, I mean, that's a little bit much more than you asked me for, as far as a background, but I tend to get carried away and, go into why I love image optimizations and listing optimizations and all that. But we love what we do. And I mean, like I love to say that no matter what part of your Amazon journey, you can find something that will help your business grow. with Amazon experts. So it's a great position to be in, and we don't just think partnership is for everyone. We take that very, very seriously and try to give the client the best thing that we can offer them.
Yeah, and I love the passion. I've spoken to a lot of agencies and firms, whether they're marketing agencies, whether they're Amazon firms that help with, PPC or renewals, I think is the actual word for them. And they just don't carry the passion that I hear sort of in your voice. So I love that background. But I think one thing that I would love to sort of talk about, because every time that we talk to new sellers that kind of come from this retail arbitrage or online arbitrage background, they find a lot of difficulties with going into private label. And even just, starting their first product, they think it's very similar when you do product research for, let's say, those Casio watches or those G-Shock watches versus when they're doing something for their own brand and they're actually trying to build something good. What are some of the challenges or difficulties that I guess you've experienced? I know you've done the entire switch, given it was more, a few years ago when arbitrage was still very, very vibrant and very attractive to a lot of new entrepreneurs. But what was that transition like? What were the difficulties?
Okay, so let's go back a little bit, because right now the difficulties are not what they used to be.
Okay.
I would say number one is going to be, rewind a couple years ago, brand registry was first. It was brand registry 1.0. That was something that a lot of people from the arbitrage space were not able to. It wasn't on the table. Private label was able to do brand registry and a whole bunch of other things once they registered their brand. And I would say that for a long time, nobody knew how to do it. There was no IP accelerator. Nobody knew what it was. Nobody knew how to do it. It was just a very big opportunity for anyone who was willing to spend the time. And that is a very big piece of what we did as far as our a la carte services as well. Just helping people with brand registry. We came up with a flat fee, and we help people get brand registry. That's a very, very big, I don't want to say it's a challenge. It's more of it's something it's a hoop you have to jump through. It's something that a private label person would have to, it's an extra step they have to go through, but ultimately it unlocks, as you know, so much more. EBC, it was, the early review program, even gating when it was potentially almost a thing, which is now it's like not even like, they give it to a handful of people, but right. there was like a minute where it was like, oh, maybe we can get gating for our brands to prevent, other sellers. There was just a whole bunch of stuff that, I guess in the private label space, you were able to do, where I would say it's almost like the opposite of what you're saying. You had an advantage from private label. Arbitrage started locking up, started becoming very, very, small and only with a handful of people, or even just the brands themselves, like with Nike. They really locked down, and I know people who had tremendous businesses who went out of business because of that, and it became more about, okay, we have to eat. It's really two things. It's private label, so you make your own brand, you come up with your own name. The best example of that is Anchor. They are leading the way in so many different kind of areas, and everyone wants to be like Anchor. I think every single I can't tell you how many people will do image optimizations for, and they're like, we tell them, you have any listings that you want to show us how to let's be like these guys. Obviously we don't want to rip anybody off, but let's take a page out of this guy's book. So of course we're always gonna try to make it our own and never ever just take someone else's idea, but at the same time you want to just see who's out there who's doing a good job. And so many people are going to say Anchor is doing the right job. So what are they doing that nobody else is doing, or that most people? It's a catching trend. But what I'm trying to get to is taking advantage of the 7 images that you have there. That is probably the biggest advantage you're going to have, and it's a challenge in a way that you have to make sure that you take advantage of those 7 image slots. But it's also an advantage in a way that once you do, you have something that going for your listing that other people don't. And I love it when somebody will tell me, hey guys, look at Hanes, the most popular apparel product. They have 1 image and it's a zoomed out picture of the package.
But it's Hanes.
But it's Hanes. Exactly. Thank you. I said, when you're Hanes and you don't care, you just put up a picture of a guy holding a plastic bag and say Hanes is in here. They'll buy it anyways because it's Hanes or Fruit of the Loom. You cannot take that as an example and say, hey, they have one crappy image. I think I could do that too. No. And the worst part about it is when you speak to a client and they say, oh yeah, I have all these images. And they say, so why don't you put it on the listing? It's just like they have a whole Dropbox filled with great images and they just made the decision not to utilize them. And if that's the case, by the way, all I would tell you, I wouldn't say, okay, Amazon experts could sell you. No. Take the images, upload them. And if you have more listings you need to optimize, we're here to help you. But I'm not just going to shove my service down someone's throat if they don't need it. And I find that goes even a longer way. Just being honest. I speak to someone, brutal honesty. In my opinion, like to be totally frank, I'm trying to find out whether they're a real candidate for me. So I don't want to say I'm trying to scare them off, but I'm trying to just figure out if they're going to give me what I need, if they have what it takes. So I'm going to start telling them. So month one we're talking about, and I'll throw a number out at them. And like a lot of times they'll be like, what? Like they're not expecting that. And it's kind of a tactic to just give them a little bit of a reality check of like, this is Amazon today. You want to do private label, you have to make a name for yourself. You have to pay for relevancy. You have to invest in image optimizations, listing optimizations, let's call it, because you have to do content and EBC as well. Now, the images is my favorite part of it, but of course the full listing, and you're showcasing the entire listing. And maybe a year ago, less of the general consumers knew about EBC, but it's a growing thing. People don't know what it's called EBC. People don't know it's called A+ content, but they know that you scroll down and you see there's more room to showcase your product and your brand. And I also feel, this is my opinion, that EBC is the most successful when you take that and you showcase your brand. And I have like a concept where we do 6 images of the product, and the 7th image, because sometimes you have more than 7 images, but usually you have 7 image slots. Now with the video, you really have 6 image slots. So with the video, we would say 5 images for the product, but 1 image for the brand. And if you don't have EBC, then that's even more crucial, because how are they going to establish trust with you? How are they going to know who you are?
And what's EBC?
EBC is enhanced brand content.
Okay.
For all the listeners who aren't familiar, A+ content is the vendor central term.
That's the part that's under the listing that has all the pictures and the little, they might have graphics and a little bit of content about that image, or everything that you can't showcase in that top part of the list.
I'm happy to pull one up if I can share my screen and show you a listing that we've done.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Is that capable? Does StreamYard have those capabilities?
Sure does.
All right, let's do it. Why not?
We can do pretty much anything we want through StreamYard. That's why we picked them.
And anyone that's listening, we'll be recording this version and we will be posting it to YouTube as well. So you'll be able to see the A+ listing and the EBC, what David's talking about, on our YouTube show if you want to jump over from any of the podcast channels that you're listening to.
Look at you being considerate of the audio-only audience. Yay. All right, David, how do we get your screen up here, love?
I'm basically going to just share my screen here, and then you guys will add it to the screen.
Change the view.
There we go.
The right view.
Share. So you should be able to just add it. There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
So this is a great listing. We love it. This is one of my favorites, honestly. You see here we take good advantage of the images that we have here, each one kind of showcasing another point or multiple points to help sell. I'll go a little slower, sorry. To help sell the product. Mm-hmm. This is a good representation of utilizing a lifestyle image. We utilized 3 different settings to show you the different uses you can have for this. We're showing how many different items you could charge at the same time with this item as well. We're showing you how to apply it to the wall, and comes with a 3M adhesive, comes with a magnetic plate. Just important information you probably want to know when you're shopping for something like this.
Absolutely.
Universal compatibility. just showing you that we can, again, use it with a bunch of different items.
But that first image is really, and sorry to cut you off, but that's really the most important one, right? Because that's the one that, like, if I'm browsing on my phone, they show you the first image, or do they show you the most viewed?
They show you
image?
No, they show you the first image.
First image, okay.
For as far as variations, like if you have 5 colors of the same pant, I think they show you the last purchased one. I think that's my opinion. I don't know if that's 100% true, but it always changes. Like if you have a pair of jeans or a pair of shorts, 3 different colors, if you search it, it could be the blue one, it could be the green one, it could be the khaki one. It's in my opinion, I think it's the last one that was purchased. So anyways, so these are not the EBC. Everything I showed you was not EBC. This is regular images that we just designed for the listing. If you take a look down below, this is EBC right here.
All the A+ content. And for again, for those of you that are listening, it's when you go to a page and you're able to scroll down, what we're looking at is sort of, the more highlights that you just can't add into that top part of the listing, which looks amazing. Are these images that you help them also obtain, or do you tell them like these are the types of lifestyle photos that you should be trying to get?
So this image was would have been image 7. We actually had it as image 7, but then they had a video, so we just put it in the enhanced brand content underneath, because honestly, that's where, I mean, it's brand content. It says it in the name. It's supposed to at least somewhat call out the brand and show who you are. And in an image like that, it's not necessary. I mean, we don't always put the product in there, but we'll try to just call out who we are as a company and just a little bit about some of the other products we have, or our mission or our vision or our promise to the customer. That's always a great thing to put in the brand image or the enhanced brand content. It speaks volumes as far as conversion, and all we're doing this is to get a good conversion rate. That's the whole purpose of this. And
you can only get this if you're brand registered. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And so on the right-hand side, it may seem like a silly question, but the listing itself, I have noticed pretty much all the things that I buy, the first few words are always in all caps. Is there a reason for that? Does the Amazon algorithm sort of detect all caps, say this is immediate, get it in their face?
So I don't think that is the intention of it. I think it more stands out. There's actually, I've heard, again, this is more opinion. There's a lot of opinions out there, and there's no rules as far as the algorithm goes. I've actually heard that this model does not work for the best. I don't think it's against protocols, but it's not. This is not necessarily the best way to do it, and that's something that I've recently heard. Where if you don't just by simply not capitalizing it, I have to brush up on exactly the reason. But I remember hearing something on a podcast or something that would not necessarily help. But it is a very common. It's a trend. A lot of people make their listings that way. Honestly, I've never really seen, in my opinion, I've never really seen it not work. We've seen a lot of success with that model. I personally like it because it's sort of aesthetically pleasing, where you kind of have the main point, and then you have all the other information. So it's like, this is what we're trying to bring to your attention. You want to read more about that point, you can read the small text. But the reason why you would do that is just so that they could clearly see, plenty of outlets for all your needs. Magnetic mount for hassle-free installation. All the other words kind of just get mixed together, but you're definitely able to just differentiate between the main first parts of the bullet and then the rest of the explanation of it. And what you'll notice in this specific image is you'll have a lot of the very similar wording from the bullets to the actual image, to the actual wording on the image. Just consistency, to make sure that, when the customer reads it, they're seeing the same thing from different places. And we find that consistency establishes more of that brand trust.
And so is it I was just speaking to a seller that they were talking about their photography, and they were under the impression that you had to, for example, in that one image where you have the I guess the adapter or the charger. If you scroll up, I think it's the third image. Yeah, that one. It doesn't highlight necessarily just that image. You see a bunch of other things. They were under the interpretation that you had to highlight the one product, that you couldn't, like, it couldn't look like it was all the other products within that set. is that just a misguided?
Yeah, it seems
thought?
a little misguided. I hear what they're saying as far as like you don't want to misrepresent, and you don't want somebody who buys this to think that they're buying a phone, AirPods, an iPad, and a computer, and the flower pot over here. You know, I definitely hear that. I guess that's why you have main image number one, because once somebody clicks on the listing, they're going to be, I mean, you hope that they're going to be able to read iHome Power Reach multi-plug outlet extender, and notice that it doesn't say comes with AirPods, comes with iPhone, comes with iPad. I mean, obviously the price wouldn't be $27.99 also. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and you know what? I almost wouldn't say, hey, don't worry about it, because what happens when you get that reviewer? Because I've seen one of my favorite things to do on my downtime is if I Google funny Amazon reviews, and you will be entertained for hours. There's people who honestly have reviewed the craziest reviews you ever think of, and I wouldn't put it past them to be like, I purchased this and I didn't get the iPhone and I didn't get all angry and leave you a 1-star review. I hear that. Thankfully, we don't usually have that issue, but for anybody in the world that does that, you know, it could be, honestly, I don't want to really find out how, you know, we'd probably just give them a refund and try to, you know, give them another free item and just try to make them happy, to be honest. But you know, it's not like there's, I wouldn't say the benefit you could get from showcasing the product through the images, I think, is far greater than the potential risk, but it's up to the client in the end of the day. This is, I mean, this used to be graphic design on images. Back in the day, there used to be a list of all the things you couldn't do, and this was one of them. And right now, that's not the case anymore. It definitely doesn't say that you should do it, but it doesn't say that you can't do it. And for a lot of people, that's good enough. Some people believe that they only need to have white background. But I'll be honest, as soon as Amazon started designing their images themselves for their own listings, that's when I was just like, all right, all of my worries of maybe we shouldn't be, you know, let's say showing a bunch of different products, Amazon themselves in their own listings. And I've also spoken to a bunch of reps at Amazon and asked them, do you think this is bad? Do you think this is not the right thing to do? Ryan, what's going on? So, I mean,
great friend of the show.
Yeah, Ryan's the best.
Awesome guy.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about this, about putting all that in the image, but I hear the concern, and I'm not gonna tell somebody else what to feel. I'm comfortable with it, and for my clients, that's good enough. You know, and I honestly, I would love to hear more opinions on it. Anybody in the audience want to share your thoughts? I'd love to hear, you know, what you think about that. I don't think I'm always right, and I'm not done learning yet. So that's.
And so does Amazon give you an option to also sort of A/B test those listings, or are there just separate services for that?
As of a month ago, actually, very good. They just rolled out the ability to A/B test your images. Your EBC was something that they rolled out a while ago, but I think now they rolled out that everyone can do it. So that's, I mean, I can't even tell you how important that is.
Right.
A lot of times what we'll do is when we give an image, when we give like image one and or image two, even any image, let's say we have two different options, we would give the client, or let's say we have a lifestyle image with the customer, let's say the one with it plugged in, and let's say we tell them for holiday season, maybe we'll put the product like in an image where someone's unpacking it from a gift. So just for holiday season, you can use that image. So it's something that we've done in the past. It's not, Amazon didn't allow you to do A/B testing with images, but we were providing clients with different images to use different times of the year. For Mother's Day, you might want to put a picture of a son giving a gift to his mom, and the same idea. And you can throw that in there for 1 month. You're allowed to change that. There's a limit on how many times you could change content on an Amazon page, but there's not a limit on how many times you could change images. So we do A/B testing even before A/B testing was around, and I got to say that definitely helps. So A/B testing, I would say I haven't had a chance to like play around with it in the Amazon end of it, but I'm excited. I feel like that's it's a game changer for the optimizations, and in general, I just think that if you're not doing optimizations, you're kind of missing the boat a little bit, especially for private label. That was another very long answer to the question of private label. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm just letting you know that Ryan knows that. Yoni knows that. I like to talk, I guess, you know. So.
It's better you do it than I do, because I get into some ridiculous rabbit holes. We just had an episode released with Tyler Scalzi of the Grow Network, and we started talking about like Tinder and Tesla. And we were supposed to be talking about 3PLs and fulfillment, but it is what it is. But I guess, you know, even you're mentioning, you know, when you're putting in an image around the holidays of someone unboxing that's 100% where your psychology degree actually kicks in. That's something I never would have thought about. But if I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I could get that for, you know, Kate, my girlfriend, as a gift. That'd be great. She would unbox it. You just have the full image in front. That's awesome. But I guess this all stems, and I know part of Amazon Experts, you mentioned on your site, this all stems from having great products. It comes from having great inventory also, and managing that inventory effectively. So I was hearing a conversation with Yanni where he was talking about, or I guess you were talking about, you would work with your clients to make sure that they have certain inventory levels within certain fulfillment centers. Can you talk a little bit about how that works? I know we'll go back to listing. We'll 100% go back to listing, but I kind of want to dive into that a little bit.
This anywhere you guys want to take it. My passion is with the optimizations, as you can tell, but I'm here to just try to give value anywhere I can. So, and inventory is an important topic. So, as far as inventory goes, I mean, we have our own methods, we have our own, you know, strategies, and ultimately each client kind of takes that in their own way. We always leave it up to the client to decide how much he wants to ship. We just send them suggestions. So we send them that suggestion on a pretty regular basis. We send them that weekly. Some clients want it on Fridays, some clients want it on Mondays, Tuesdays. So we'll send that weekly replenishment suggestion based on the sales they made. Without going into too much detail, we're going to look at sales that they made, not just for the last week or even the last month. It's a bunch of different formulas we're using. My partner, Jake, is really the one that headed this up, but we're going to look at his best week. And if he had his best week for a bunch of weeks, how much he would have sold. And it basically gives us a good projection of how much he could sell if he continues to have several of his best weeks. So if you have a product that you sold, 1 week you sold 10, 1 week you sold 20, 1 week you sold 10, 1 week you sold 5, we'll say, all right, but what happens when you sold 20 every week? So we have a month of 20 sales each week, which is much more than 10, 20, 10, 5. And it doesn't necessarily deserve it. And that's kind of the whole idea. I'm going to come back to the whole deserving thing. My opinion, replenishing something not for what it deserves, but for what you want it to deserve. And there's a fine line between just saying, all right, we want it to deserve 1,000 sales. Let's send everything we got. No, you can't do that. But it's a fine line between over replenishing and under replenishing. But we find that you get a little bit aggressive and you say, all right, I sold 50 units over the past month. I'm not going to replenish 50. I'm going to replenish 120. And that allows the algorithm to just feed you more traffic. And it's that management of that inventory, forecasting it, projecting it, and making sure that we get it in the right places, and the team, with troubleshooting shipments and making sure that we get just being on top of it. And when Corona hit and we couldn't ship, we were very aggressive. So I think I'm proud to say, like, every single one of our clients were able to that there was like a 2-month period where nobody could ship goods, and we were like towards the end, we were getting very close to stocking out. But
like November, December, right? Most
of my guys, no, earlier than that. It was May. It was April, or it was now. It was. I have to look back at it, but it was
okay.
It was. I want to say they stopped taking shipments in April or May. I have to double check that, so don't hold me to it. But there was I would say 2-month period where you could not ship. Prime Day was postponed because of that.
Okay.
And
I know what you're talking about now.
We weren't able to ship goods to FBA. Every single one of my clients, one by one, we pivoted over to FBM fulfillment as well as FBA. And then we basically just, thankfully, I don't think we stocked out. Many of them were able to stay in stock because of the aggressive nature of our replenishment. And I think it was also because we had a very strong couple months, and then Amazon was just doing so much fulfillment that they couldn't They couldn't handle all. They had to focus on getting things out, and it was only for PPE products. They didn't ship anything else. So it was a crazy thing. But as far as inventory goes, we're just looking to make sure that our clients are always going to stay in stock. Stocking out is not an option. And then more importantly, that they're set up to scale, that they're set up to, because part of our opinion of what makes that success is giving it the inventory it needs. Amazon, let's say you have a search term, let's just say men's shorts, right? You have 100 people searching. This is not the numbers, but let's say you have 100 people searching for that. And let's say Amazon knows that you're going to get a 10% conversion. So if you have 10 units in stock and there's 100 people searching for that, then 10% conversion would mean that 10 people will be able to find it. So if Amazon knows 100 searchers equals 10 sales and you have 10 units in stock, they'll match you with that keyword. But what happens when you have 1,000 people searching and you're still going to have that 10% conversion rate? Amazon's not going to send 1,000 people to a page that can only fill 10 orders. They're going to completely ignore you and go to the guy that can fulfill. And they're only going to give that traffic. You're not even going to get a chance to show up if you don't have the inventory to fulfill this high search term keyword. So again, this is part of just making sure you have inventory, so that you can make sales. And like I said, replenishing for more than you deserve. And that's what we do. And we find that that's very, very, I think, crucial for success. People who don't have inventory, people who just say, oh, let's sell out and next season we'll reorder. We won't even work with them. Full management is not an option. We'll tell them, hey, you want listing optimizations, you want brand registry, we have a whole service menu that they can choose from, but they don't deal with me. They deal with the team, and they don't get my time and the biggest thing that we're doing with my clients is we're spending time strategizing, making a plan, reviewing what happened on the account, adjusting the plan accordingly, and just making sure that every month and every week we're going in the right direction as opposed to standing still or going in the wrong direction. So yeah.
That's huge. I'm sorry, I'm just going to interject here. So I come to this from the perspective of being totally green and not knowing anything about Amazon. And that's like crazy information to me for some reason, that they feed you the viewers the listings based off of whatever you have in your inventory. I always thought that the number of hits you got or whatever had to do with like your PPC and your SEO and everything else. I didn't realize that they algorithmically sent based off of what can be fulfilled. But that makes total sense.
They're both. It's all true. I think you're going to get it based off PPC. You're going to get it off SEO. But if you think about, and honest, again, this is my opinion. There's so many speculations about the algorithm and how it works. I'm not going to ever say this is what it is and my word is final. I'm just my experience has made me believe that. And honestly, I believe that all of those things are factors. You can't be successful unless you do a bunch of things correctly. It's not just about doing one thing. And SEO is important, and it won't work unless you have all of those things. You have to do PPC. You have to put the right keywords in. But you also, I think the what brings it all to a full close is having the actual inventory to provide all the searchers with the inventory. To fulfill people that are looking for your product and make sure you can sell it to them. Because otherwise, think about it. Why would again, the algorithm is going to feed people what they're looking for. If you don't have enough inventory to fulfill that search, then people will be disappointed. People won't get what they want. They're trying to get people. You're looking for a pair of shorts. They're going to get you somebody who has shorts. If you only have one item left in stock, that's obviously again, you will see sometimes where they'll say, a few amount of items left in stock. So it's not just you can get traffic with low stock. I'm not saying that's not a rule, but it's just I've seen that across the board, across all of the accounts, when you kind of scale the inventory forecasting, scale the inventory send, and you give it more than what it deserves, you'll likely see if you're spending on PPC, if you have the right SEO, you're giving it everything it needs to kind of just surge and do well and increase and get much better. So yeah, I mean, it's again, I never want to just say that I know everything, and I love to say I'm learning, and I love to say that I'm not finished figuring everything out. That's part of what I'm doing. That's part of, being in my consulting shoes and just getting the experience and the data that I'm privy to. But it's as you might be able to tell, I love it, and I love thinking about it and strategizing about it. And Francois, like you were saying, psychology plays a bigger role than I think I ever admitted. So I'm realizing on this podcast how much extra.
No, and it makes sense from a logical standpoint with Amazon being so customer centric, right? And wanting to deliver the best experience possible so people will maximize their spend on Amazon. Why would you send, if you have 1,000 people searching for the men's shorts, why would you send the one listing that has one pair of shorts and that's all they're going to have? If two people land on it, one person tries to check out, they could have just said, screw it, I don't want the shorts anymore. It's not even worth it. That was a good deal. So it makes sense ultimately. But I guess how far back does your service go in the supply chain? Because I know you're talking about inventory when it comes to FBA and FBM, but a big part of that also means that the private labels have to have tremendously valuable and great relationships with their factories and all their suppliers, right? Do you help them on any side there, or do you make suggestions just like, hey, based on your past sales over the past 6 months, we suggest you order 5,000 more units, or is it more on that?
So yeah,
domestic level.
The term for us, I'm not sure if it's the universal term or not. This is what we use. Forecasting would be from your US warehouse. Like we're going to give you a forecast for what you need to send into Amazon, and then projecting inventory, like inventory projections are more from your factory, like what you need to order. So in the beginning, for the first 3 months, I always say you're flying blind. And you're just basically looking at, you don't have data to base it off of. Your projections will be very empty. You don't have what to work with. But once you're selling for a couple of months, you could say, put it this way, if you're selling for 1 month, it's maybe a little bit too soon, but let's say 2 months, 3 months, you could look back to, if you're selling 2 months, you could look back 2 months and say, based on the 2 months of our history, if we continue that, it's kind of like I was saying with the replenishment, just on a bigger scale. So yes, we will tell them what to order from their factories. Ultimately, it's only a suggestion. They need to sign off on it. It's more of a conversation. We'll tell them. They'll go back to the factory. They'll talk to them. They'll figure out when they can get it. But yeah, that's something that we do, and that's something that, forecasting is a lot simpler and a lot easier. And then inventory projections are more like, again, I don't know if that's the official term for it, but that's what we call it.
Go with it.
And yeah, we just go with it, and we just we try to give them as much information as we can. But sometimes, like I said in the beginning, especially, you don't have that data, and it's just a guesstimate. And we're very honest about that, and we just tell them, maybe just like, let's say we have 500 units in the warehouse right now in the United States. When we get down to 200 units, let's just re-up and never ever go lower than 200. So at least at the very minimum, you have a cushion. And then as you get data, you can tell them, all right, I think you should get a little more aggressive here. I think you should, for this item, we should be ordering, or maybe even, trying to figure out a way to get it quicker and more frequent. And there's just, you gotta work with what every account is different. Every factory is different. Like you said, the relationship has to be there as well. It's not something that we do, like, more than just telling them when they need goods and what to get. We don't really get much more involved. And as far as, where to get them, I feel like we should plug you guys a little bit.
Go to Noviland.com, hit start sourcing, get started. We're not going to plug ourselves too much in here, but I love the plugin, David. Thank you. I guess another level on that comes with reviews, right? Does Amazon experts also deal with reviews and assessing them? And I guess the next layer there, would you make product suggestions or product improvement suggestions based on those reviews?
Okay, loaded question there. So review. So yes, for sure, we'll look at the reviews. When you could respond to reviews, we would do that. We'll do everything we can and learn as much as we can. Part of our image optimizations, part of some of the best ideas we ever had was from the reviews, was from the comments that we got and feedback we got from customers. But what I thought you were asking was about getting reviews, about building reviews for the listing.
It's a touchy topic. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it.
Yeah, honestly, the simplest way I could just put that is there's a lot of tactics out there. We have thank God. I mean, Amazon Experts has a great relationship with Amazon. We love our relationship with them. We utilize that relationship to help us in a lot of different ways. And I would never sabotage my relationship by doing anything in the gray area. I get so much more value from them. I wouldn't want to, like, if you do that, that's grounds for, you get in trouble. I don't. Right. If it's something that you get in trouble for, I don't want to do it. Now, the images, in my opinion, is something you would not get in trouble for, the graphic design on images. And I've asked that, and if they would have told me that it is something that's problematic, I probably wouldn't offer it as a service. But as far as learning from the reviews and just to answer that question about reviews, the answer that I give everybody is you go for traffic, you go for sales, the reviews will follow. Don't worry about, and you have all those people who are doing all those black hat, tactics and buying reviews. And I mean, yeah, maybe they might have an unfair advantage and they might be, but in the end of the day, I have always found that doing things the right way has always paid off longer. You have these guys that are not following the rules and then they end up getting their whole business shut down. It's just not worth it. I've heard so many crazy stories and I don't like to do it. It's not something that, and if like I have a client that likes to do it, that is into those type of tactics, I'll think twice before working with them because I don't want to have any issues really. So it's just something that a lot of people have services and things that they do. And I think it's kind of more and more people are staying away from it. I don't think it's as popular as it once was. And even, I mean, to make it harder, Amazon just discontinued the early review program.
Right.
Which is going to be, I don't know, I'm not sure. Usually when they discontinue something, they roll something else out. But, and like
that's
Vine,
usually more expensive.
Yeah, right. So Vine is more expensive and it's free right now. And I do think they're going to change it over to Vine.
What's Vine for those? For
Vine is a vendor central early review program. It's a lot more expensive. And you get a lot more reviews.
The key word there, vendor central, not seller central.
Oh, no, it's on Seller Central right now.
Oh, it's on Seller Central.
It's something that they spilled over into Seller Central a while ago. Anybody familiar with Amazon's Accelerator program has Vine for sure. A lot of people got invited to Vine just because they did a certain amount of sales. So I know a lot of people who are just regular Seller Central guys who have access to Vine. It's not everyone has it, but some people have it. And it's great. It really is. If you have it, if you can take advantage of it, go for it. I very highly recommend it. It's like early review program on steroids. I was about to call it ERP if I'm not already hard enough for the newbies. Everything has a 3-letter
abbreviation.
So.
And for Vine, it was, you had mentioned those that were invited to do it. For those who weren't invited, is there like an application, like an approval process that they can try to get in on the program?
So I'm pretty sure it's just if you go to your advertising tab on Seller Central. So on Vendor Central, I think it's something that everybody just has now. But on Seller Central, if you go to your advertising tab and you go right underneath, there's Campaign Manager, A+ Content, Early Review Program, and Vine. So it's the 4th option from the top on the advertising tab on Seller Central. And once you click on the Vine option, it'll redirect you to another page that will tell you whether you're eligible or not eligible. A lot of people, it will say you're not eligible at this time. That's not good. You definitely want to be eligible, but you maybe keep checking every month and it might change. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of this month, our early review program is going to be gone. So maybe April 1st, they'll put out an update, hopefully.
So I just shifting focus a little bit. I think it's important also that we clarify who Amazon Experts works with. Do you work with Amazon sellers that are just starting out and that have, you know, $5,000 to $10,000 to invest in product and they can use Amazon Experts? Or is it someone that has multiple SKUs, let's say 10 or more, that's been selling for a while?
That's a very good question. One of the things on my criteria list for full management is I want to have, I would say, 15 or 20 items. If I'm not going to say somebody with a 10 item catalog is not an option. It's one of the things on the criteria, but one of the things that we might overlook sometimes, depending on the other assets that they come to the table with. Also, sometimes you can have 10 parents, and like I said, you have shorts, 5 different sizes, 3 different colors. So one item is really 15 items.
Right.
So it's not really, we look at it a little different, I guess. But yeah, we want someone with a bigger catalog. I wouldn't say that, like, I mean, beginners we have our fair share of accounts that we have launched. I mean, it's always more exciting to get an account that kind of already has been doing this for a while. My favorite thing is like when you have a guy who has like one image and tons of he spends tons of money on PPC. And like, I just know that we just do a couple of things: image optimization, content optimization, enhanced brand content, storefront build, the brand registry. I mean, we could do like a handful of things, and he already pays for traffic. He already has, let's say, a 10% conversion. Taking advantage of all that traffic and just showcasing the product better could make that 10% conversion jump to a 20% conversion. You're talking about you can have a very big business that can just double in the time span of a month, 2 months. That is my favorite type of account. Somebody who's doing it, somebody who has an in-house team. We have our team that works with the in-house team, so it's not just you're not just handing over the keys to your business. We ask the customer for 4 things. We ask the customer for information, product information. We don't know the product as well as they do, so we're always going to say that. We ask for it one time: product information, features, materials, benefits, UPCs, anything we're not going to get. Number 2 is inventory. We don't actually touch the goods, so we'll tell them what to ship, but they have to actually have their warehouse or their 3PL ship it out to Amazon's FBA facility.
Do you help them connect to any if they don't have one
Sure,
already?
Sure. I have plenty of friends that do that. And then the third thing we ask from the client is approvals. Approvals is going to be for the advertising budget, the marketing budget, as well as the price that we're going to sell everything for. We'll come up with suggestions based on research, but ultimately we need them to sign off on the prices, and we need them to sign off on any money we spend ever. And then finally, the 4th thing we ask from the client with full management is someone to work with, a point person to get those 3 things from. So that's what full management looks like. But I would say if you're a new beginner seller or looking to sell on Amazon, what we'll do is you can reach out. We'll do our due diligence. We'll vet the account. We'll look at the opportunity, and we'll very quickly be able to tell you whether full management is on the table or if you can just use our service menu. So to answer your question, I always like to say anybody in the Amazon world can benefit from Amazon Experts. I can find one of my services will help every Amazon seller. I mean, obviously they could use other people out there. I'm not the only person, but I'm confident that I have something that can benefit every Amazon seller, no matter what part of their journey they're at. So it's something that I guess we're very, like I said, we're very proud of what we do, and there's definitely, like I said, a couple of things that we're more excited about, and there's a couple of types of accounts that are more of a fit for what we do. But and like I said, that first phone call with me, I'll try to get to that answer as quickly as possible. I'm not trying to waste their time as much as they're not trying to waste my time, and I think it's just about finding out a couple of details, giving them an honest opinion on whether I can help them or not. And you'd be surprised. Sometimes you tell somebody, I can't help you, and they think it's like a sales tactic, and they're like, no, but you can. And I'm like, oh no, but I can't. And it's just, but it's great. And I love that the space we're in. And I mentioned earlier, I didn't always want to do this, but it's clear that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I enjoy doing. And like, I don't want to sound too cheesy, but that saying, like, enjoy what you do and never work a day in your life. Right. I very much feel like that is, applied to my life. Like, I come into work in the morning and I blink my eyes, and all of a sudden my wife's calling me, dinner's getting cold, so I gotta go. It's not, it's not too bad. It's a pretty good thing to have, I guess.
That's amazing. Well, we're coming up on the hour. We do have a question from the audience, and then I want to ask you about something else that I know that you are equally as passionate about, which is the Ecom Cooperative. But first, Jack Lee coming from Facebook. Do you hear of Amazon removing or changing their 200 limit per ASIN soon? And for those that aren't familiar, it's safe to assume that Jack is referring to the 200 unit limit in FBA inventory. So have you heard anything about that?
I have. I probably heard the same thing Jack is referencing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear anything official though, so I only heard like someone heard from someone. I trust
the
it.
Amazon birdie.
Yeah. I trust where I heard it from.
Okay.
I can't say it's confirmed, but I will tell you this: I kind of like pride myself in staying in tune to these types of things.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I find out, I will definitely. I always try to post it to my LinkedIn. But yeah, I mean, I don't know for sure at this time. I really hope so. And I definitely heard, but I didn't hear it official. I don't think they announced it official, and I don't think it's officially something that they raised. But I'm actually, this is reminding me to reach out to a few people that might be able to shed some light on it. So I will do that. And Jack, if you want to check back into LinkedIn in a week, maybe I'll have something for you.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for your question. Sorry, so I'll go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that's sort of the importance of what David was talking about earlier between FBA and FBM. So that FBA is that fulfilled by Amazon, FBM being that fulfilled by merchant. That's the importance of also having like a 3PL that you can actually work with, and you could fulfill it from your apartment if you have small enough products, you're a smaller seller. But as you're growing, you always want to have those partnerships with 3PLs. That is like one of the most important parts. Or own your own warehouse if you're big enough. As you grow and as you scale, owning your own operations just reduces a lot of risk in the overhead when it comes to sort of that last mile trucking. So I just wanted to include that little tidbit in there.
Awesome. Well, David, let's talk about the Ecom Cooperative real quick before we tell everybody goodbye for the day.
Okay, Ecom Cooperative in 3 minutes or less. So the Ecom Cooperative is basically just a bunch of service providers who have come together to try to bring value and try to, I guess, create this community for e-commerce sellers. Not just Amazon, although a lot of us are in the Amazon space. There's definitely enough to in just regular e-commerce that it's Ecom Cooperative. But basically, we started this community by doing a raffle. We're doing $100K giveaway, not $100,000 being raffled away, but $100,000 in services. So a bunch of service providers have banded together, and we're basically the first thing that this community is doing is going to be raffling away. It's free to enter, and we're going to be raffling away the services that altogether value $100,000, more than $100,000. So it's very exciting, and there's going to be more to come. What we're trying to just build is a place where e-commerce sellers could go and grow their business, and service providers can come and work together. And we're really excited about this. We definitely have a lot more planned as far as value that we're trying to deliver to this audience, and what better way to start a community than with a $100K giveaway. And these are all services that every Amazon seller and e-commerce seller could use and needs. We have services like brand videos and product videos, free product photo shoots. We have softwares for months on end. We have tons of things that are, anybody selling on Amazon or e-commerce can use all of the services we have. So it's really amazing, and we're very excited to be part of it. And we're very excited to see who the winners are and how their businesses, increase because of the services they win. It's very, very exciting, and we're stay tuned for more information, I guess, for the Ecom Cooperative, and you can sign up at the link below. And that's pretty much the elevator pitch.
Yeah, and we'll include that in the description, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to put this in the description of the audio and of the video. And if people have more questions about the Ecom Cooperative or about Amazon experts, how can they get in touch with you?
So for the Ecom Cooperative, you can just go to the website, theecomcooperative.com. It's moving across the screen. There's a little help center. You can just reach out, ask any question you have. And then as far as Amazon experts, just email info@amazonexperts.com. and somebody will get back to you. Just you could also fill out the contact us on the website. Somebody
and that's
will reach
Amazon
out.
Experts without the E. So
Without the E, correct.
Amazon X, just X, no E
Correct.
before the X,
No
birds.com.
E before the X. For all those who are listening, yes. No E before the X.
I'm trying to be more mindful.
Definitely.
Love it.
Well, yeah, no, that was awesome. David, how do you feel? That was
That was great. That was good.
You got to be our guinea pig. I think we had an amazing episode.
Yes, that was amazing.
I think we covered everything all the way from listing to Amazon inventory and fulfillment with Amazon FBA and FBM. Talked about the Ecom Cooperative. Talked a lot about Amazon Experts. David, really, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy. And to everyone that's listening, thank you guys for joining also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, David, so much. Y'all have a good one.
Have a great day.